Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing and football selections for Saturday the 25th of April. Some very interesting selections. I don't expect anybody to follow me in with the same kind of bet that I've had, but I just thought, in the end, stuff it. I thought, right, let's group them all together. I'll have a 5p each way Goliath. Fingers crossed, because if we have a good day, we're retiring on it, but it's probably not going to happen. But there's some very interesting angles, and I'm going to talk you through it very briefly because I'm not in a rush, but I'm not going to spend 15 minutes on a video recording. So this is literally going to take 3 or 4 minutes. So if you hang on till the end, I'll let you know exactly the really strong fancies. So let me get into it. So as I said, it's a 5p each way Goliath. The first selection is Secret Sniper in the 145 at Sandown, and this is an extremely interesting horse. The favourite, Poor Nichols, it slips my mind. I'm not going to waste your time what it is, but it ran behind that horse last time, beaten comfortably. But I think if you look at the form of Secret Sniper, it's now tackling a stiff track for the first time. So far, in its, I believe, 4 or 5 runs over hurdles, it's been at Taunton, mid-division, it's been at Huntingdon, it's been at Wincanton. Yeah, all speed favouring tracks, all pretty quick tracks. Last time it was giving £1 to the Poor Nichols favourite of this particular race it's in today. This time it's receiving nearly a stone, and based on conditions that it didn't want, it's gonna receive a hefty weight allowance in its favour, and also, in my opinion, better, more suitable conditions today. So I think it's currently 20 to 1, and it's a crazy price, and the paying first, what's that, 6? I haven't got my glasses on, but it looks like it's first 6 on Sky Bet. The next selection is a decent fancy, and it's Mons Glory in the 220 at Sandown. Came second in this race last year. I expect there to be loads of pace. There are 3 pretty much. I don't know what I can say confirmed front runners, but they are out and out front runners on a regular basis. Mons Glory is normally prominent but doesn't normally lead, but it's normally sat right behind the pace and can quite often take it up well before halfway. But I don't think it's going to be able to today because it's not going to have to. There's so much pace. There's Etalon, Doyen's Quest, and another horse. And I'm not going to look at it because we haven't got time. But Mons Glory is currently, I believe, 10 to 1. They're paying 3 places, and I think there's only currently 6 runners. The next selection is Cafes in the 235 at Haydock. Looks like a very progressive horse. The only risk is that it hasn't ran so far this season. The good thing is it switched from Roger Varian to Ed Bethel. I just think Ed Bethel's very good at developing horses. I think Roger Varian's a great trainer as well, but I like the angle of it swapping trainers first run for the new trainer. And it does normally. It's one of these horses that is actually wants 7 furlongs or a mile, because a lot of the horses, check it out for yourself, in this race are 6 furlong specialists. This horse races prominently and wants at least this trip or further. So I backed 2 horses this time last year. There were hold up horses, and they never even got a look in. And I'm thinking maybe that could be the same thing again. So I expect Cafes to be in the first 3 throughout and hopefully kick on. Hopefully it's relatively fit, because I think the prize money is up. I've seen a couple of races. I think it's either something like 25 grand or 50 grand. So they're not messing about. As Derek Thompson would say, they're not messing about here. So the next race it's the Bet365 Gold Cup. Right. I'll be honest. I think I've looked at 9 runners and I've changed my mind so many times. Right, I'm going to tell you, I fancied the Willie Mullins horse, but I still do, but I'm not backing it currently at 6 to 1. That's ridiculous, especially when there's something like 4 horses, even shorter than that horse. I did look for an outsider and I went for Certainly Red, but I've changed my mind because I think there's too much pace on. I think there's going to be an awful lot of pace. And I mean a lot of pace. There are first-time cheap pieces, there's first-time blinkers and a first-time visor, I do believe. There could well be a lot of pace. I do think it normally, I wouldn't say slightly favours front runners in this race. However, I think they're going to be softened up, and I think Turning for Home, I think it could be a well stretched out field that gets very interesting late on. And there's one slight problem I've got with the selection that I've gone for. It bled from the nose last time, and I hate that. But I'm definitely more confident of this horse. They're not going to send it into this horse if they're still into this horse. They're not going to send this horse into this race if they're still concerned about it. It's had 49 days off. What this horse will be, it's an absolute monkey, but it will be pretty much held up last, smuggled into the race, and it's a course specialist. It's ran here several times before, even at a distance of 2 mile 4 furlong. When it won that race, and I actually tipped it. It was the outsider of 4. Well, it's over 3 mile. Well, I can't remember what it is now. Was it 3 mile 4.5 furlong? It stays this trip. It loves Sandown. I think it will appreciate the good ground rather than soft ground. I think it's less likely to bleed on good ground rather than soft ground. So yeah, I think, and this horse is currently 33 to 1. So I do believe you're going to be watching the back of your screen for an awful long time where it's held up with no chance, but all of a sudden I think it could get into the race, and I do believe it's got 2 in the race. The next selection is in the 420 at Haydock, and it's full gas. And as I said earlier, I backed 2 horses on this card last year. They were fancied, but they were held up. They both ran exactly the same kind of race, never nearer. So full gas. It's been slowly away at times, but last season it's very lightly raced. But last season it was always leading. I'm thinking the application of a first-time visor is the kick up the backside that it needs, and I think it will go to the front and point its toe. And I do think Kevin Ryan's stable has been shocking for years now. But the good thing about being in shocking form, it means your horses are well handicapped. So, although this is a relatively young horse, I do think, I'm not sure, are these the Bergerac colours as well? So, I didn't look into that. But I do believe, first time visor, it might be the kick up at the backside that it needs. I think it's Lewis Edmonds on board, but I could be wrong, but it doesn't matter. At least there's somebody on board. So, it doesn't matter if it's Lewis Edmonds, but I'm not too worried about the jockey. Yeah, I think it's got a good chance. And another ridiculously interesting horse, because this is a huge price. And when I tell you the combination at Southwell, I think it's very interesting. You've got a decent spread of flat meetings. Not fantastic, but they're okay. You've got Haydock, you've got Leicester, you've got Doncaster, and you've got Southwell. Well, you've got Sylvester de Souza at Southwell at 6 o'clock, and I think he's even got a race in the half eight race. Why Sylvester de Souza, who's been riding in Bahrain at Southwell on a Saturday evening? It's not particularly just to ride this horse. I think he's got 6 mounts in total, but this horse is trained by Ian Williams, and I think it's come from France. It was running over further in France. Well, not further than today's trip, further than it's been run over in this country so far. So it ran 1 mile 4 and 1 mile 6 in France. Then it started over 7 furlongs. It went up to 1 mile 3 straight away. Then it was dropped back in trip, I believe, and dropped back in trip again. Those disappointing runs, the Racing Post rating isn't a million miles behind what its official rating is today. I think it's off 54 today. Well, it achieved a 48 and a 52 so far. So it isn't running as badly as what you think. And it is absolutely desperate, in my opinion, to be stepped up to this trip, which is 1 mile 6 furlongs. So I'm hoping it goes all right at Southwell. I'm hoping it stays, which I think it should do. And at 16 to 1 currently, 20 to 1 currently, with a very, very good jockey on board, I think you've got a decent chance. And then I think this horse has been laid out for this race, and I think it's Fire Eyes. Well, not I say laid out, prepped up for this race. Fire Eyes in the 7:45 at Doncaster. I don't think it stays 1 mile 2. Yes, it's ran over further in the past and ran okay, but I don't think it quite gets home. Or if the reason why it didn't get home on that particular occasion at Doncaster, which is the same course, but it's dropping back in trip today, is because maybe it wasn't fully tuned up. I don't know, but it came there travelling well, and it didn't quite get home over 1 mile 2. It's now over, back over a mile at Doncaster at a course it's absolutely fine on. Roger Fell's the trainer, and I think he's quite good at a gamble. Well, I did see, I don't know how true it was. It was 10-1 this morning, apparently. Well, it's still this morning. It's only 9:30 now. But I don't know what point it was 10-1. Well, it's currently 9-2. Hopefully it drifts, but that's Fire Eyes in the 7:45 at Doncaster. And finally, Soames Foresight in the 8:30 at Southwell. If they go off too fast, this horse has got every chance. It is a Southwell specialist. There's so many questions. It isn't a good race, this isn't. And it is an all-weather specialist, this horse. So I just think it could at least sneak a place. It will be staying on at the death. So if they go off too quick, it'll be absolutely flying. If it turns into a sprint, it may struggle, but it loves Southwell and it's absolutely fine over this distance. So those are all the horse racing tips. Football selections will be in the description, and well, no, they won't be in the comment. They'll be in the description of this video. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.